Dear students, in context of some celebrity convicts, you may have come across certain terms quite frequently, such as furlough. So Baba Ram Rahim or Gurmeet Ram Rahim, he was frequently granted furlough by the government. Similarly, when Sanjay Dutt was in jail, even he was granted parole frequently by the government. Now on these two concepts, a practice question can be like this. We will see this question again later. And on these concepts, UPSC has already asked a question in 2021 prelims. In 2021 prelims. We will revisit these questions once we have studied these two concepts. Now, between parole and furlough, we have some key differences, but before that, remember two common points. Both of them are given to persons who are in jail or the jail inmates, or you can say the convicts. The convicts. So when these people in jail, the jail convicts, when they are given temporary leave from jail, temporary leave from jail, then that can be, the leave can be either parole or that leave can be furlough. This is one common point. So both of them are kind of leave from jail. And second, granting of parole to a prisoner and granting furlough to a prisoner, both of them are dependent on good behavior of the jail inmate. So these two are common points. Now the first difference between the two is the effect on sentence. The effect on sentence. Now when a prisoner is granted parole, then the time for which he is out of jail, he is on a leave from the jail, that period will not be counted as his sentence, which means his sentence will be increased by the same duration for which he is out from jail. For example, if a person is serving 3 years of jail term in some crime, and let us say in these 3 years he is given 2 paroles of 10 days each. It means 10 days, twice he was granted leave from jail. Then these 20 days that he has spent outside the jail will not be counted in these 3 years. So his sentence effectively becomes 3 years plus 20 days. Whereas in furlough, the period for which the jail inmate, the convict, is outside the jail, even that period is counted as sentence. So the total sentence remains the same even if he was out of jail on furlough for some time. That's the first difference. Second difference, remember, parole is granted to those convicts who are undergoing short-term sentence. Short-term sentence. Whereas furlough is granted when a person is undergoing long-term sentence. Long-term sentence, for example, life imprisonment. The third difference is purpose, objective. The purpose of parole is to allow a convict, a jail inmate, to attend any exigency, to attend any emergency. Now, what can be the emergency? For example, let us say a family member of a convict, of a person in jail, a family member is terminally ill, is very, very ill. Or there is a wedding of a very close relative of the convict, right? For example, Nalini, if you remember, is one of the convicts in Rajiv Gandhi's assassination case. So he was granted parole to attend daughter's wedding, right? So it can be granted to a person to attend, for example, any social event of a close family member. Whereas the purpose of furlough is different. Now, what is the purpose of furlough? As we said, that furlough is granted when a person is serving a long-term sentence, say life imprisonment, umr kaid. Now, remember one thing, in democracies, the objective of criminal justice system is not to punish someone or is not retribution. retribution or revenge. Badla is not the objective. The objective is reforming the person. Correct. Now, when a person is in jail on a very long-term sentence, what may happen? That he might lose all his ties with his family, with his friends, with the society at large, and therefore the person may lose any objective of reforming himself and integrating back in the society. That means, let's say if I am in jail for a very long time, and in that long time I have lost all the connection with the outside world. I am no longer in touch with my family. We have lost that emotional bonding. I am not in touch with my friends. So then tell me, what incentive do I have to come out of the jail? Right? That means I will never try to reform myself. I will not display good behavior in jail. So the person has no incentive to reform. Therefore, the purpose of furlough is to prevent solitude. To prevent solitude, अकेलापन कहीं ना आदमी को अपना जाए. And second is to allow him to maintain his ties with family and society. So this is an interesting difference. And the last difference is, remember that parole is not a right. So if you file an application for parole, you may or may not get parole. However, furlough is considered more of a right. More of a right in the sense that if a convict, if a jail inmate has given an application for furlough and he has given sufficient grounds, sufficient or satisfactory grounds that why he should be given furlough, then it becomes more of a right. It becomes more of a right. And if he is unreasonably denied furlough, then he can even approach the courts. Right? So remember that rights तो दोनों ही नहीं है, पर comparison किया जाए तो furlough is considered as more of a right than parole. Parole is completely discretionary, discretion of the granting authority. Right? One more thing, remember that the subject of prisons or jail is given in the state list of constitution. That is why all the state governments of India, they have separate rules on parole and furlough, and there may be differences in these rules. The grounds on which parole would be granted, the grounds on which furlough would be granted, these rules, these grounds can be different from state to state. Now look at this question. When a prisoner makes out a sufficient case, parole cannot be denied to such prisoner because it becomes a matter of his right. No, it's not a matter of right, so this is wrong. And state governments have their own prisoners released on parole rules? Yes. So this is B. So every state government has its own rules on parole. Now this question, parole is a matter of right? No. Parole is granted to prisoner undergoing long-term sentence? No. Short-term sentence. This is wrong. This is wrong. Parole is granted by state government, whereas furlough by union? No. Union has no role. So this is wrong. And in D, in both parole and furlough, the period of sentence is extended by days person is out of jail? No. In parole, it is extended. In furlough, it is not extended. So this is also wrong. So basically in this question, all the options are wrong. This is a wrongly drafted question. But anyhow, I hope the concepts are clear. Until next time, bye-bye.